Do you struggle to find stocks that have the potential to make explosive moves? Or maybe you catch a winner from time to time but struggle with consistency. In this video, we're going to share with you a simple but highly effective scan that we run nightly called the 320. With over several thousand stocks to select from, quality scans are extremely important as they allow us to narrow down our watch list and focus on a handful of names every session. With this simple daily scan, you'll stay on top of what's moving and be able to capitalize on emerging opportunities, which may take all of 15 minutes of your time. I'm Rick Petticelli from Morpheus Trading, and with over 2 decades of experience in trading, I'm here to help you improve your scanning process. If you're eager to learn more about swing trading, hit that like button, subscribe to our channel, and let's jump right in. So the 320 scan, what is it? It's a scan that we run in TC2000, but don't worry, this is a simple scan that can't be run in just about any decent trading platform. It's simple, but it keeps us focused on stocks that are moving on volume. Price is king, but volume is a very close second and is extremely vital in confirming price action. So as the name suggests, it's the 320. We're looking for a 3% move on a 20% or greater pickup in volume. And so we're going to show you how we create this scan in TC2000. But again, it's so simple, it can probably be copied on any major trading platform. So first up, we're going to run through all the different parameters. First up is the liquidity, my base liquidity on this scan. And this is just a close is greater than 15, and the average volume of the past 50 days is greater than 375,000 shares. I prefer to trade stocks that have over 500,000 shares a day. And the close is greater than the minimum low of the past 252 days times 1.30. We're not looking to bottom fish. And the close is greater than, or the close is within 25% of the 52-week high. Most of the time I'll put within 30% just in case I want to catch a stock that's a bit more volatile. So that's my base liquidity and price filter. Next up is another volume or liquidity filter, and that's just a 50-day dollar volume. So it's just simply the price times the average volume of the past 50 days divided by 1,000,000, which allows me to easily see how much the daily dollar volume a stock does. For example, I'm looking for anything above 70 million right now. And this is a very liquid scan. So if you want to look for stocks that have 20 million shares a day, that's fine too. But 70 million is the cutoff here. And the 320 component here, just looking for stocks that have moved 3%. And the volume is 20% greater than average. I put 0.17 because I don't want to miss something that's 18 or 19% or 17% greater than average. That's just me being, the trader, the weird trader in me that is at 17%. It probably go to 16 or 15, but then I'd probably looking at 14 or 13. I got to stop somewhere. So 17 is the cutoff. And one extra thing I've added in here is I want to make sure that the stock has made a decent advance compared to its daily range. So a 3% gain isn't going to be a big deal if the stock does 6% a day on average. So I'm looking for the stock to at least move as much as the 14-day ATR, the average true range, during this session. And last up is just a simple relative strength filter. I have it set to 80%, and this is based on 252 days of data. You can use 65 or 120, or in TC2000, you can use a combination of all three, but just for making this scan simple, I have the RS252. And of course, we run it on US common stocks and ADRs, and then we just hit the scan button. And so with the columns I've set up, I have price, percent change, industry, 50-day dollar volume. Then I have relative strength on over 65 days, but I prefer to sort by industry group and then dollar volume. So you click on dollar volume going down and then industry group. And I just go through the stocks and I look for the 3120. Also, I forgot to mention that I run this scan nightly, but in case we've missed something here, I've put that the 320 must have occurred within the last 5 days, which is a great feature on TC2000. But if you run the scan nightly, you simply have to just, flag what you like and then put it into another watch list and then constantly add to and take away from that watch list so that it's current. So again, back to the scan. I've already run through quite a few stocks on this watch list and flagged a few that I like, but you get the general idea. I also have this green spike here on the chart that visually shows me where the 320 is, so I don't have to go looking for it, even though I know that I'm looking for ones in the past 5 days right now, but the green spikes do help, especially if I'm going back over the chart and looking for prior buy points. So what the 320 can do, obviously it's already moved quite a bit, the stock has, and it's not exactly to get you in the stock that day, although it can be, but I use it as something that is letting me know that it's a stock that's in play, it's moving and it's on volume, and that I need to be on the lookout for a possible pullback entry to the 8-day EMA or a possible bull flag type of setup. That's generally what I'm looking for, especially if the 320 occurs from a gap up. You really want to be on top of that. And just looking at the chart here of Carlyle, you can see a 320 here that's below the 50. Most of the time I'm looking for them above the 50, but if it's just below the 50 by a bit, that's not too bad. But you see here's the 320, and then you're just watching for price to pull back possibly, or to move out and then pull back into the 8 and 20-day moving averages. Here's another 320 right here, and a little bit of a kiss off the 8 and the 200-day MA, and then it pushes higher. Another thing that the scan does a good job of, right away you can see which industry groups are seeing money flow. And if you run through this list, you see just a ton of software names right here, and that sticks out pretty easy to see, right? So I flagged a few, so we're going to sort by the flags. Snow, the first 320 was back on 122. So like I said, you don't have to buy the gap up. Could buy over the day's high. The 320 scan puts you on alert, and this stock pulls back to the 8-day EMA and fails. That's going to happen. But if you bought off the 8-day EMA, it's not a bad idea. I've done it a ton of times and it's worked. This time it didn't work. Not a bad idea, it just didn't work out. Another 320 gap, pull back to the 8-day EMA, or you could have bought any pullback into this like 210 area. So far, finding support at the 8 and trying to push higher. SHOP, something that we're currently long in the model portfolio in our Wagner Daily newsletter. We are in Snow as well. Just wanted to throw that in there. And with SHOP, here's the 320. Doesn't mean you have to buy that day. Price action pulls back in the next few days. You can buy off the 20-day EMA or anywhere in that 81 area, 80 to 81. Even possibly add over the 3-day high or the high of Tuesday's reversal candle. APP, although it does report earnings in a few days, but here's the big advance on volume, 320-day. Here's a tight range session, another tight range day here. If you didn't buy over this 2.5 high, could buy on strength over the 2.6 high, looking for immediate follow through with that 8-day EMA as a selling guide. PLTR, that was a 320. That was a massive gap, but that's a buy over the prior day's high, which we mentioned as a buy in our live trading room. Then we have MDB, another big volume move up. There's no pullback to the 8, and there's a bit of a shakeout here, but notice the next day closes higher above that 440 level, the breakout pivot. And we purchased some in the newsletter today, and that's because we tracked the 320 and it started to push higher. So this is a situation that we call a go or no go. It's got to get going here. It's breaking out. There's volume. It looks good. It should go. And just a few tips here on how to use the scan a little bit more effectively when you're looking at charts. I'm basically looking at a stock that's forming some sort of valid basing pattern. It's in a decent base. It's probably 25 to 35% deep. I should say anywhere from 15 to 25% deep, or 35 rather. And it's either at the 50 MA or around the 50 MA and above the 200 MA. And here's a 320 on a gap. Gaps are really good. And you just follow the price action and just look for some sideways action. Maybe you can buy the move out or the first pullback to the 8. But that's generally where we're looking for these 320s. Coming out of a downtrend line break or after an undercut of a base low. So this is where we like to find these setups. It's usually when the stock reclaims the 50 MA, on a pullback to the 8-day EMA or on a bull flag breakout, or even after a shakeout below a swing low within a valid base, volume shows up. And sometimes, as I mentioned earlier, it may not work out with the initial entry, but what you will have is a stock that's on your watch list that is potentially in play, and you know that after a stock has a shakeout, and if the prior buy point was legit and maybe attracted a lot of buying interests. If there's a shakeout and the price action holds up, you know that the next move has even better odds of working out because there's already been a shakeout. For example, we were monitoring SMCI for a few weeks, and we were looking at an entry on a pullback here. I believe we even purchased some as the price action went sideways here, looking for the 8-day EMA to hold, following these two solid 320 days. Well, the 8-day did not hold. Price pulled back to the 20-day EMA. We're stopped out. The next day it gapped up and sold right back down on heavy volume. But then the next day there was a gap up on big volume, and SMCI was mentioned as a buy entry in our live trading room at 354. And the reason why we were monitoring the stock is because of the 320. So once we saw the morning gap, we knew that after this shakeout, it could be go time. So we bought in at 354, mentioned the buy in the live trading room, and we recently sold around 640-ish for an 80% gain. SMCI could continue to push higher, no doubt, but we're happy with that 80% move there. But, you know, this is just a really simple scan. It puts the emphasis on strong price and volume action, generally above the 50-day EMA, and the price is also above the 8 and 20-day EMAs. So it's putting a few things in your favor, and it's making it simple. It's keeping your lists pretty simple. And I'm not saying this is the only scan to use. You can use this with a combination of a gap scan, and then maybe look for some volatility contraction scans, such as a narrow range day, such as an inside day or an NR7 or 5-day. All these scans together can make a pretty damn good watch list. So just to wrap this up, the 320 scan is a powerful, simple scan, can be used on any platform. It's just looking for a 3% gain on a 17% pickup in volume. It's called the 320, but it's the 317. 320 sounds better. And go ahead and give it a try and see what kind of results you get. Well, thanks for watching. If you found these insights helpful, please show your support by hitting that like button and subscribing to our channel. For more in-depth analysis and to get our top swing trade setups with the exact entry and exit points, please visit morpheustrading.com and click on Stock Picks. Join the MTG tribe today and be a part of a community dedicated to successful trading. Thanks for joining us, and remember to trade what you see, not what you think.